All right, so the Band-Aid has officially been ripped off. Kyrie Irving is traded to the Boston Celtics in a package that includes Isaiah Thomas, Jae Crowder, Ante Zizic, and an unprotected Brooklyn first-round draft pick. This hurts. Kyrie hit the biggest shot, the shot in franchise history and maybe the city's history. We spent 12 months rubbing that in Golden State's faces, and it was so wonderful. And it was all because of him, and I wouldn't give that up for anything. But he also demanded a trade off the Cavs and was willing to waive his trade kicker just to leave. And it's hard not to kind of say screw that guy. It'll be interesting to see how his legacy goes. I think 20 years from now he'll be beloved, but today I kind of want to throw in the finger. So it'll be interesting to see how Kyrie's legacy goes. I don't think he's an enemy. I don't think he'll get booed mercilessly or anything like that. But I'm not going to send the guy roses on Valentine's Day or anything either, I don't think. Interesting parts of this trade, the headline grabber is Isaiah Thomas. I don't know that he's as good as Kyrie, but he's pretty darn close. He's been more efficient offensively for the last, I believe, 2 seasons. He has some major limitations defensively. He's always rated out as one of the worst defensive players. A lot of that is his frame. He's 5'0", and so it's pretty easy for it to look like a big brother playing his little brother out there. Under the lens of can he play versus Golden State? Yeah, he can play. He can score. He'll still be helpful in that way, but he's also going to be easily exploited out there. If you thought putting Kyrie and Kevin Love in pick and rolls was bad, Isaiah Thomas and Kevin Love in those same pick and rolls is going to be pretty ugly, and he'll be able to they'll be able to find mismatches and exploit him. But he has been very efficient offensively. He can pass, he can shoot, he can do a lot of the things Kyrie can do. So I would expect, at least during the regular season and through the first couple of rounds of playoffs, that we won't see a huge drop-off between Kyrie and Isaiah Thomas. The big grabs in this trade are going to be Jae Crowder. For one, he's going to be extremely helpful. He's under contract for 3 more seasons, under $10 million every season. That's just crazy value for a player as good as he is. He's a glue guy. He does a lot of the little things. He can play defense. He's got size. I'm going to say he can shoot. He can't actually shoot well, but he's about a career 35% shooter. He spiked last year. I think he hit 38, 39%. We've seen that in guys before. Draymond Green is an example. 2 seasons ago, he hit, I think, 38, 39%, but for his career, he's like a 33, 34% guy, and he showed that again last year. So I want to see more from Crowder before I suddenly say that he can shoot. But I think that he can play a pretty important role on the team, the role that Richard Jefferson played, or maybe more accurately even the Shane Battier role when LeBron was with Miami, as a guy who can defend, play the 4, and hit a shot, and do a lot of the little things. He's smart. So I think he'll be perfect in that role. And I think that being able to go play a few different positions, he can play the power forward, he can play small forward, he can play maybe even shooting guard just in little spurts, which makes him valuable. You can get lineups out there that feature LeBron and JR and Crowder and Love and Thompson and have a lot of guys that can kind of switch all over but still have some spacing and do a lot of fun things there. So I think he's going to be a fun, useful player for the Cavs. Zizic is a lottery ticket kind of guy. A lot of people are really high on him. I wouldn't expect a ton, but it's another fun piece to throw in. But the big piece is going to be that Brooklyn unprotected pick. It gives the Cavs an option of using that in a trade, and who knows who's going to become available throughout the year. Boogie Cousins could suddenly shake loose. You could see Marc Gasol. There's been rumors that he might want out of Memphis at some point if they don't turn it around. So there might be a couple of stars who start to shake loose a little bit halfway throughout the year, and the Cavs could pounce on that and have a pretty amazing lineup going into the finals. And it also gives them cover going into the offseason. If they elect to keep that pick, they can dangle it in the offseason when more trades are likely to happen. Or if LeBron does leave, they can use it in just have another, replenish that young player that Kyrie was kind of the franchise guy that we could build around even if LeBron left. Well, now we have a pick that could do the same thing. So, a lot of options there with that. That's pretty exciting. People are going to keep talking about Isaiah Thomas, and I guess I get that. The big thing with him is this is a contract year, and he's made it very, very clear that he wants a max deal. I believe the Cavaliers will get his bird rights. So it's something like a 5-year, 180 or 200 million contract, something insane. He's 29. He's coming off a hip tear that is somewhat frightening, and I'm not even sure that it's confirmed that he'll be available to start the season. He's already 5'0", so the idea of giving him a max deal is pretty scary. But you know, you cross that bridge when you get there. Luckily, with Crowder being such a useful piece, with the pick being there, Isaiah Thomas is the best player that the Cavaliers are getting back, so he's going to grab all the headlines. But I don't really think he's the most important piece. So, just when evaluating the trade, I don't know that he's the guy that you focus on when talking about what the Cavaliers are getting. And again, something that I talked about in an earlier video was that the Cavaliers need to protect themselves and getting assets that are both good for the short term to win now and have a good season with LeBron, but also assets to keep long term to keep LeBron happy and make him want to stay. So Crowder is one of those. He's here for 3 more years, so that's 2 more years after this one. If LeBron were to sign a 5-year max or something, he'd know that Crowder would be here for quite a while. Zizic is going to be under team control for a while, and then that pick, of course, can either acquire somebody or can be used to grab a young player to supplement the roster for quite a while. So, that's exciting that the Cavaliers are going to replenish their roster, replenish some of their assets, and are going to be able to think long term a little bit. Whether LeBron stays or goes, they're going to be covered with guys that could be flipped for picks. If LeBron does leave and you want to trade Jae Crowder, he's got a ton of value. You're going to have other guys like Tristan Thompson, guys that probably aren't going to make sense to hold on to during a rebuild. So worst case scenario, LeBron leaves and we have a bunch of guys that we can flip and hopefully get some assets. Best case, this is a selling point for LeBron to stay. And you're going to see a lot of people try to argue that this makes Boston contenders and maybe can compete with the Cavaliers. I don't see that at all. They've sacrificed a lot of their defense. They gave up Avery Bradley this year. They gave up Jae Crowder in this deal. They gave up a ton of their depth just to sign Gordon Hayward, who's a fantastic player, but that's a team that was built a lot on their defense and suddenly doesn't look to be a great defensive team. I don't understand who's going to rebound on that team, with Marcus Morris and Al Horford being the 2 big guys that looks like are probably going to start. So I understand why Boston would do this for the long term, but I don't think in the short term it makes them a much scarier opponent for the Cavaliers. So I think that this is a huge win for the Cavs. Kyrie put them in an awful situation. It's his right to do so if he wants to. And it seems like the Cavs made the best of it. Kobe Altman is a young guy who kind of got pushed into that general manager role, but it's hard to find fault in this. It's been sort of incredible for this organization to be run so poorly and watch Dan Gilbert just be sort of a train wreck, but it's hard to point to any actual roster decisions that have been bad, and that's been a blessing. A lot of bad franchises are just covered in bad personnel decisions that tank a roster, and it's hard to point to those to the Cavaliers, even as they've let Griff go and the botched Chauncey Billups thing and all this. They've managed to not make any bad decisions, so kudos to them on that, as much as you can give kudos for how the whole David Griffin, Chauncey Billups, Kobe Altman thing went down. But it's left them in a good position. We're in a good position now. We're in a good position going into next season. And, it's up to LeBron if he wants to stay or go. But we're going to be in a good position either way. So pretty exciting. Hard to watch Kyrie go, but this is pretty much the best possible scenario. So we'll see how it plays out. There'll be a lot more reaction. There's going to be a domino effect. The Cavs roster is full, so they're going to have to make some additional moves. But right now, as a Cavs fan, as hard as it is to see Kyrie go, this is about as happy as you can be with a return. So hopefully it works out. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment, all those great things. I look forward to talking to you next time here at Waiting for Next Year.